thinking that like regardless of any of this like meta content around the actual product, the only real source of truth is the code. And you can write whatever you want and say like, oh, the button should do this, you should have this types of styles, and you can have all like the best laid plans of mice and men all together, but if it's not in the code, it doesn't matter. And that's kind of what I've almost kind of like felt like we should be, if you are going to write documentation, if you are going to actually spend time on that, it should be using tools like DartDoc or whatever the equivalent is in other languages, or JavaDoc, and just have your kind of instructions almost in the code base. So when you don't have to go off to some Confluence page that no one looks at, that talks about versions of the software that's 10 versions old and is completely not relevant at all to what it actually is, the current state of the product. So it's really really easy for the project management stuff and even like extra documentation stuff to just get out of sync with the code. And then it really becomes a hindrance to actually, like, you could try to be onboarding a new developer, and they're trying to learn how to set up your environment or whatever, and there's like do these 10 steps, and none of them work because, well, they're not the right steps anymore. I've been on situations like that where the documentation was wrong, and that can be challenging. And I know when I set up projects, so like I'll pick on the environment setup because everyone has to deal with that. If you can just clone your repo and then just hit run, so I'll just say, I'll pick on Flutter. So I'll say, if I just do Flutter run and that's it, I don't have to do anything else. That's awesome. That's how it should be, like minimal. If I have to go through like 5 build runner steps, and then I have to make sure to compile my protobufs, and then I have to run this esoteric make script that someone has put together that then needs to go through the Bazel build engine. Like, I could just keep listing jargon forever. But that becomes a huge hindrance to people actually getting work done. So follow just like standard community practices of how things work, and don't get the project kind of caught up in all these extra tools and rambling on.